Alright, good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever time it is in the world for you. Welcome to another video, and this one's going to be quite an interesting topic. I say that all the time. That's because they are interesting. That's why I choose them. That's why I talk about them. But this one's quite good. In fact, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to be talking or getting into... That doesn't sound right. Freshwater megafauna. A recent study published in Global Change Biology, which is the third most cited journal alongside Nature and Science, identified that global freshwater megafauna species are on the decline. And now when I say megafauna, I mean any animal that's 30 kilograms or above. Now this report is something truly jarring, and for the most part, quite an eye-opener. So they found that from the 1970s, there has been a 4-decade decline in freshwater megafauna, and what they found was an 88% decline in global freshwater megafauna species worldwide, everywhere. This was the first study of its kind. So this was the result from a time series data set of 126 freshwater megafauna species worldwide from 72 countries, as well as geographical distribution data of 44 species in Europe and the UK. The decline was mostly found in the Indo-Malaya, the Palearctic, as well as swaths throughout the Asia regions. Now, large fish species, most notably the sturgeons, the salmonoids, as well as the catfish, were the most threatened, with a 94% decline in species distributions, followed close by a lot of reptiles at 72%. It should also be known that there are 34 freshwater megafauna species listed as critically endangered on the IUCN Red List. Now, before I get into the cause and effect or the problem at hand, I want to quickly go into freshwater environments and what they are and why they are so important. So freshwater ecosystems are one of the most important and most complex habitats on the planet. They are also responsible for our well-being, which is incredible when you think about it, because they cover between 0.5 to 0.8% of the Earth's surface and house a third of all vertebrae and half of all fish species worldwide. They're also an important resource in the replenishment and purification of humanity's water source. Now, they do this by passing through multiple different freshwater environments, which in turn gets passed through multiple different organisms, removing any sediments, pollutants, or I guess algae, anything that's going to disrupt the chemistry of the water gets purified through these environments or locations and animals. Everything coexists. Many of the megafauna and freshwater species rely on these environments for migratory routes, protection, breeding, and sustenance. Now, these areas are currently under threat, and the main culprit is, I'll give you a second to figure it out, us. We're the main reason that all of this is happening.
I am shooketh.
Now, this study identified two main reasons as to why this is occurring. One, overexploitation, and 2, the loss of free-flowing rivers or habitat destruction. Now, what I'm going to do is go through those 2 individually. However, there is a plethora of issues concerning freshwater environments that I probably will not cover, but I'll leave a link down below to how you can find all that stuff, and if you want to do extra reading, because freshwater environments, we don't know a lot about them, which is nuts because we need them to survive. Overexploitation in freshwater environments has been denoted to be one of the primary reasons for megafauna declines globally. The Mekong catfish used to be very common along the Thai-Lao border. However, is now very rarely seen and is only occasionally seen in the Mekong River. Why did this occur? Because they were overfished to the point of almost extinction. They were overfished to the point where 90% of their population plummeted. And now they are only seen at the lower end of the Thai-Lao border, the Mekong River. Habitat loss. Now, one of the greatest threats to freshwater environments is the alteration of flow regimes as a result of damming productions. Since the 1950s, the production of dams has increased from 5,000 dams worldwide to 45,000 dams. The production of these dams is primarily used for agriculture. In fact, 70% of the water found in these dams goes towards the production of food through agricultural means. 12% is used as a water supply, and the rest mainly used for hydroelectricity. With the insertion of dams, a cornucopia of issues begin to sprout. I'm not going to name them all, I'll probably name like around 5-ish, so let's get to it. They disconnect important migratory routes. They destroy riparian habitats. They prevent the natural movement of sediment, which in turn decreases species productivity. Degrades water quality, so water and sediment retention decreases. And large-scale human population displacement and lowland communities become under threat of flooding. Freshwater environments are one of the most important ecosystems on this planet, not just for animals, but also for the human population. They are responsible for regulating the temperature of the climate on a daily basis through sequestering CO2 from the atmosphere and locking it up in the soils. They are also responsible for our water supply, food source, as well as our electricity. With a global loss of over 88% of freshwater megafauna worldwide over the past 4 decades, it's become blindingly obvious that conservation action needs to be taken in order to protect this very fragile and very crucial environment. However, little is known about the conservation and monitoring of the freshwater biodiversity at this time. In fact, a lot of the human population don't necessarily understand what happens or what type of species are found in freshwater areas. So with that being said, further studies and I guess more research has to go into the understanding of freshwater ecosystems. If we're seeing an 88% decline worldwide of all freshwater megafauna, then I think it's a no-brainer in saying that we need to do more to understand these environments because we rely on them to stay alive.
And the truth shall set you free!
And that is that. I hope you enjoyed that video. That was quite an interesting topic. An 88% decline in global, worldwide freshwater species are plummeting. So yeah, we're in a bit of hot water there. no pun intended. But yeah, hope you did like that. Make sure you subscribe down below. Check out my last video, whatever side that's on. Educate, don't eradicate. And I will see you guys next Wednesday for another interesting topic. And I hope you enjoyed the second time I said it. Bye.